What if Darth Vader hunted Watto? Years after the rise of the Empire, the galaxy had changed beyond recognition. The Jedi were gone, the Republic had fallen, and the Empire ruled with fear and order. Darth Vader, once Anakin Skywalker, had become the Emperor's most feared enforcer. Entire systems trembled when his Star Destroyer entered orbit. But there was one place Vader had not returned to in many years. Tatooine, a world of sand, heat, and painful memories. For Vader, Tatooine was more than just another Outer Rim planet. It was where everything began. The place where Anakin Skywalker was born into slavery. The place where he left his mother behind. The place where his past still lingered in the dust. Normally, Vader avoided it. But one day, something changed. A small report crossed Vader's desk aboard his flagship. Imperial officers were investigating slave trading activity on Tatooine. Most of it was the usual Outer Rim crime, but one name caught Vader's attention. Watto, the Toydarian junk dealer who had once owned Anakin and his mother. For most people in the Empire, Watto was nothing more than a minor merchant, a scavenger who sold scrap parts to travelers and smugglers. But to Vader, that name carried a weight far greater than anyone could understand. Watto had owned him, owned his mother, treated them as property. For years, Vader had buried those memories. The pain, the humiliation, the helplessness. But the dark side had a way of pulling buried emotions back to the surface. And suddenly, the Emperor's most feared Sith Lord felt something rare. Curiosity, not rage. Not yet, just curiosity. Vader ordered his Star Destroyer to change course. The journey to Tatooine was silent. The officers aboard the ship did not question it. When Vader gave an order, no one asked why. When the Star Destroyer appeared above Tatooine, panic spread quickly through Mos Espa. Imperial ships rarely visited the planet, and when they did, it meant trouble. Stormtroopers were deployed immediately. Dropships landed near the city, and squads began sweeping the streets. Word spread quickly. The Empire was searching for someone. Watto was in his shop when the first stormtroopers arrived. The old Toydarian had changed over the years. Age had caught up to him. His once loud and arrogant personality had faded into cautious survival. Business was slower now, and the galaxy had become far more dangerous than it used to be. When he saw the stormtroopers outside his shop, his wings froze. Stormtroopers meant the Empire, and the Empire meant someone important was coming. Moments later, the air outside his shop grew cold. Even in the desert heat, the heavy breathing came first. Mechanical, slow, terrifying. Watto turned toward the entrance of his shop as a tall black figure stepped inside. Darth Vader. The room seemed to shrink around him. Watto had never seen Vader before, but every being in the galaxy knew what that armor meant. The Sith Lord looked around the shop slowly. Rusted parts, broken droids, piles of scrap metal. The same kind of place it had always been. For a long moment, Vader said nothing. Then his deep mechanical voice filled the room. Watto, the Toydarian flinched. Why yes, Lord Vader, he stuttered. Vader stepped closer. You were once a slave owner. Watto swallowed. And many people were, my lord. It was legal then, you see. Vader raised a gloved hand. Watto's words stopped instantly as invisible pressure closed around his throat. The Toydarian lifted slightly off the ground, wings fluttering helplessly. Vader walked closer. You owned a boy. Watto struggled to breathe. And my lord, I own many slaves. The boy. Watto's eyes widened. Something about the way Vader said those words made his stomach drop. A human boy. Vader continued slowly. Named Anakin. Watto froze. The name hit him like a blaster shot. Anakin, the slave who had won the pod race. The boy who had left with the Jedi. Watto had not thought about him in years. The pressure around Watto's throat tightened. You remember him. I remember. Watto gasped. Vader lowered his hand slightly, letting him breathe. For a moment, the Sith Lord simply stared at the creature who had once controlled his life. This tiny merchant, this insignificant junk dealer. And yet, this being had once held power over Anakin Skywalker. Something stirred inside Vader. Anger, but also something else. Reflection. Watto coughed and steadied himself. My lord, the boy was lucky. I lost him in a bet. A Jedi took him away. I never saw him again. Vader slowly stepped closer. You lost everything in that bet, did you not? Watto nodded nervously. Yes, Lord Vader. The boy cost me a fortune. For a moment, the room was silent. Then Vader spoke again. You enslaved him. Watto tried to defend himself. It was the way of Tatooine. Everyone owned slaves. It wasn't personal. Vader's breathing grew louder. The dark side stirred. Not the explosive rage that had once controlled Anakin, but a colder form of anger. The kind that came with power. You own my mother. Watto blinked. My lord. Vader's hand tightened slowly. The force wrapped around Watto again, lifting him higher this time. I was the boy. The realization struck Watto like lightning. His eyes widened with horror. Anakin. Vader stepped forward. The towering black armor cast a shadow over the terrified Toydarian. Yes. Watto's wings trembled violently. Please, my lord. I didn't know. I swear. It was business. Just business. But Vader said nothing. For years, Anakin Skywalker had believed Watto was powerful. A master. Someone who controlled his fate. But now, the truth was obvious. Watto was nothing. A small merchant. A scavenger. A coward. All the fear Anakin had felt as a child suddenly seemed meaningless. Vader slowly lowered his hand. Watto dropped to the ground, gasping for air. The Toydarian looked up, expecting death. But Vader turned away. Without another word, the Sith Lord walked toward the exit. Watto stared in shock. My lord. Vader stopped at the doorway. You are not worth my anger. Then he left. Outside, stormtroopers stood waiting. Vader walked past them toward his shuttle. In that moment, something unusual happened. A small piece of Anakin Skywalker finally let go of the past. Not through revenge, but through realization. The boy who had once been powerless was gone. Now he was something far more terrifying. Darth Vader. And Watto was just another insignificant memory lost in the sands of Tatooine.